Hi everybody, always talking with Cecilia C Style here. I just wanted to do a little update because I did too long of a video on the Nipsey hustle and I was so emotional and it was a mess. I kept rubbing my nose. I'm like, oh my God, my nose just started itching before I started recording. Because I was outside and allergies, whatever. But I just want to say, once again, rest in peace to Nipsey Hustle and my thoughts and prayers and just my love and you don't want to say sympathy, but my heart breaks and goes out to his family, his children, both mothers of his kids. I know everyone has mentioned Lauren London. I did last time, because she's the queen, the love of his life, the woman that he was with, you know, just until the final, moments of his life. And it's just so sad. And today was his funeral or the memorial at the Staples Center, which does seat about 21,000 people. I know what I had heard reported was that tickets were available free to LA residents, to residents of California, I should say. You had to have proof that you reside in California, and then you could get 4 tickets minimum, maximum. And there were reports that they were gone in 10 minutes. I heard another report they were gone in 20 minutes. Of course, people want to pay homage, pay respect. I hope those that were true, real fans there were able to go, not just people who, sometimes people just want to show up because someone's popular. And, if you really were a fan of his music and you were following him, or, even if you're very touched by his passing and just his movement, he was so positive and gave back to the community. And today on TMZ, Harvey Levin said, it's sad that he's being recognized now. More people are learning about him and all the good he did after the fact, after he's been murdered. And of course, it's great that there's spotlight on that, but it's sad that positivity and doing great things does not get as much attention as controversy and drama. But we as a society should look at, what are we consuming? I mean, that's kind of what he said in some video. But when you think about reality shows, and even one day I wanted to do a YouTube video on like anger. Like sometimes you look at like what sells, what's popular. It's like the fights on Real Housewives and, more drama sells. I've heard, major people say, oh, well, this season's boring, or they're boring because they weren't fighting enough, or this particular couple or reality show is boring because there's no drama. Excuse me, I'm like holding my phone camera. That's silly, because we should, like, I know I used to like some reality shows that were cut off the air because they weren't a bunch of drama. It was about them like working, and there wasn't that much going on, but just their work and maybe just the day in and day out, activities. But think about what you're consuming. Are you always watching like arguing and fighting? Or even look at Judge Judy. Like I always say, I think she acts real nasty to the client, to the plaintiff and the defendants. And but she's the number one selling. What does that tell you? Like that she's the top paid judge on TV. And I just prefer seeing more compassion. So we should think about, who's doing well. And like they say, give people their flowers while they're here. And, recognize who's doing good. When even someone like TMZ reports, or something like when I watch the news, I like when they end each broadcast with a good story, like a, you know, like a heartfelt story. Like, even look at the ducks that were crossing the road and people pulled over, let the ducks go to the pond. It's so cute, you know? And think about that too when you're driving. Like, don't immediately get upset. Like, damn, I was hung up. Like, maybe I'm supposed to be held up because there might be an accident coming up ahead and you don't want to be part of that. Or you could be avoiding an accident. Don't always be in a rush. Don't always be so quick to snap and get aggravated. And I think that's a good like lesson we can take away, you know, from everyday life. And looking at, I did see the video of Nipsey's mother and her strength, at least her response in the video that she had posted. I believe it was about 16 minutes long. And she said, he was at peace and she's fine because she knows that he's now found the secret to life by death and now is at complete peace. And even describing that he looked at peace, he smelled great, he looked wonderful, he had such light. And I thought, I know so many people cannot be that strong. You know, you don't want to outlive your children. And you know, he was put on this earth for a purpose. We all can find our purpose if we really try. And it doesn't mean that everyone has to be a big star or be super well known, but be kind, be as generous as you can, work hard, work towards your goals, try to make an impact, just even if it's small, you know, be helpful to your neighbor who may be elderly and offer to pick up something at the store for them, or help someone, you know, that you know maybe can't get up and down the stairs too often, you know, check in on people, just, you know, maybe someone's alone or lives alone now, you know, check in on them, sending someone a message or a call every now and then, you know, just try to be a good person, a good friend. And, you know, just watching, and then I wanted to say, just back to the Nipsey funeral, like, watching Lauren London and how strong she was, and the part that, you know, was most difficult, and she said, was that what hurts her is knowing that her 2-year-old son she had with Nipsey she feels won't get to know how much his father loved him. Just so sad. And I think in time he will, when he sees the loving person that he was. Just looking at his family and seeing how loving and calm of a spirit they have, it shows how his father was, and hopefully he will be able to interact with them and, you know, get stories and see the kind of man he was. The great thing is there is a lot of video and footage of him speaking, and he'll be able to kind of learn more about his father and what kind of person he was. And he exuded love and growth and evolved. And that's another big thing. Like, we should always be trying to evolve and grow. And so my heart goes out to all of them. I did hear a report, because I am doing this channel just to kind of give my opinion, but also whatever kind of news or tea, you know, gossip that I've heard. It's so sad that Nipsey has passed, and I know that we should be saying, well, you know, you could look at it in one perspective. He's gone, and now he's laid a foundation and people can continue. I know Lauren London's last word of her speech was, the the marathon continues. And, you know, set it with attitude and, you know, that LA, that California, boom, you know, attitude. But, and that's true. They want to continue his legacy. I hope they'll keep the store open because I think people will want to go there for years when I get back to California. I've been out there a few times. I would like to visit there. You can order online to support and order his music. I think I said that the other day because he owned his masters. So if you feel like, man, I'd like to help contribute or worry that his kids need something or, you know, just show support, all that will be going to his estate. There was a report that Jay-Z created a $15 million fund for his children, for Nipsey's children. Then I saw that was not true. I wonder how imagine how you feel like I didn't say that, but now that puts in your mind, well, I should create something. I mean, he was on the Rock Nation management. He was under their management. And as an artist, or, you know, I know his last performance was on Tidal, through Tidal. So I'm sure there'll be something. But I don't know. I will try to do some update later on that. And then I did hear a rumor that it was reported that Lauren London had fainted. She was crying so hard and really taking things, you know, hard in the last week. And supposedly had fell to her knees. Then she got up, stood up quickly. Her eyes rolled back and she fainted, which could happen when you're just like so upset. And you know, if your blood's flowing and you stand up real fast. I know I've gotten dizzy in the past before. And you're so upset. I can't even imagine her level of, you know, grief. One other thing she said was, grief is the final act of love. Ugh. So sad. And pardon me, I'm just gonna have water. Ugh. And she just spoke from the heart, and you know, it's great that she seems like she's trying her best to accept this, and also that, you know, they had such a great understanding. And another thing she said was that Nip said that you can never possess someone, but you get to experience them. So she said she was so grateful that she experienced him. And of course, you know, nothing in life is guaranteed, but you don't expect to lose someone so young at 33 and who had so much planned and was so positive and, you know, I'm sure had so many plans. So back to like what I wanted to say about his murder. I've been watching lots of videos, so these are my takes on things. I saw something, and some people may not believe at all in tarot readings, but I watched this one on him. I wasn't even going to watch that, but excuse me, my freaking nose. So what happened was they said that they see there were 9 people conspiring. The head person was an older person, over 50 years old, about, and very wealthy, billionaire status, and who knows, right? There are always going to be theories that maybe it's a setup. I know I saw the video of his manager friend who was wearing the cowboy hat, as some people have been calling him, who managed the marathon store and who was on video shortly after he was killed, and shortly, like like after the murder. And I don't know, this man, he might totally be devastated. It wouldn't seem like he would have anything to do with the murder. but he seemed to not have much sympathy, much emotion. And I just know, as I said in my other video, actually my first love was murdered, shot. You are in shock. I mean, he was shot in front of us across the street. It was, you know, gaming, like drive by. We drove to the hospital, got in an accident. Someone hit us. That rushed the death. He didn't die there in the hospital. He died. Just so I can only on a small scale understand a little what Lauren London's going through. It's just so devastating to lose someone you love. But the thing is, like, I mean, but this woman has had a kid with him. The other rumor I heard is that she fainted. I'm sorry I like started that story. Supposedly she fainted, but when she fainted, she hit her head on the coffee table, was rushed to the emergency room. Again, this is allegedly. I know there's been no other reports of this. I've just been coming across multiple videos on YouTube, and supposedly she is 8 weeks pregnant. This is what I've heard. Now, if all this comes to light, then that's almost so beautiful, but it's so bittersweet, because then, oh my God, like this other child won't know him in the physical here, but I don't know. If that's the case, I can only imagine. And I'm sure part of her keeping it together is because she does have she has 2 children. I know, one from Lil Wayne, and then her youngest son, Cross, from Nipsey. And you have to keep it together. You have a child, you know, no matter what happens, you have to live your life and for them, and to take care of them and be your best self for you. So I wish her the best. Those are the rumors I heard. Back to the murder, when I was watching a video with this guy being interviewed, one thing I saw was that he had said that they just had purchased the whole building. And, you know, it's been said before, Nipsey was renting these other, like there was a restaurant where the owner didn't want anyone to eat in there. So he purposely didn't put any stools. So Nipsey, when he was able to buy the restaurant, the strip mall area, he required the guy to put stools, and I'm not sure there's tables, but there's, you know, like a bench or like a counter in there so people can sit down and eat, and you're not saying just buy and leave, you know. So really nice little, you know, thing he did there, you know, just making sure he's like helping the people. And, you know, there's been word that he paid taxes for people's businesses, which is just so great. I said this in the last video, but I just think it's really important to say, you know, he would help people who just got out of jail, and that's what he was doing that day. The report I heard was that someone had gotten out and he wanted to help him get clothes so he could have, you know, fresh fit, something clean, new to wear when he goes to see his family for the first time. He had given the security the day off, or at least no one was there that afternoon. It was a Sunday. He just thought, I'm just going to meet this guy, go up there for a little bit, you know, politic. And then this guy comes, Eric Holder, allegedly, who was the murderer, comes up to them. And my question with the friend, what I heard in the report, what I heard his account was, this guy came up and said he was some rapper or some BS. Shook our hand. Then another interview, he says, we know who he is. Okay, maybe he meant like we know because he came earlier. But it almost seemed like, well, they knew him, but if you knew him, why'd he introduce himself? And he said that the guy had left, and that about 3 seconds, in 3 seconds he took to walk and go back to eat his food and go in the restaurant or go back in the store. He left Nip for about 3 seconds, and then Duda came back and shot him. It just seems like 3 seconds, and that's what he like repeated multiple times. 3 seconds, 3 seconds. You wouldn't have heard that. I saw another video. I've been watching a bunch of stuff on the Marathon clothing store. The way it's set up, how you walk in, there's actually a space that kind of curves the way you see how it's on a curve in the corner section of the of the strip mall. You walk in the store and there's a display to the left. It's like a little hallway. So the space before you would get to the back. You just think if you hear some shooting, even if you're like, oh, you know, I want to go out there and get shot myself, maybe, that you'd immediately call 911, or if you have a strap at the store, then you run out or say something so dude leaves, throw a brick, I don't know. You know, but there are people that are speculating, could this guy have been in on it? He didn't seem to have any emotion, and everyone is very different. However, what would be the motive? I mean, I'm sure that Nipsey was backing most of the businesses financially. And I did see a video where Nipsey himself was speaking, explaining that he was questioning, should he get this area? And that guy, his friend, said, no, we should do it right here in the hood. We should have this space. And he said, yeah, no, here you think? And I know there might be people who say, no, he always wanted to be in the hood. If I can get a link to that video, I'll put it up. He literally said he questioned that. So it kind of makes you think, okay, well, this guy was insistent that you stay here. And I totally get that. You want to help your neighborhood. But then there's been this debate. Do you help in the hood? Do you stay in the hood after you make it? Because people do get jealous. They may want to come back. You could invest, but you don't have to be there. You could have a nicer area, but you use your profits to give back. You know, you could have had a place on Melrose, you know, and still sell your stuff. But who knows, you know, you could always say there's fate, but if someone had it out for him, and if it was a setup, and there were 9 people, as that one tarot prediction had said, they're going to come after him at any time, anywhere, any way they can. It's just so sad. And supposedly he said to Eric Holder after he shot him, okay, you got me. I'm good. Supposedly those were the words, and people said, you know, it meant you got me already, you know, you hit me. And then Duke came back. It's just terrible. He came back to shoot him the second time, and then a third time, and then kicked him after he shot him the third time. It's just like, and I want to be positive that's the right guy. I've said that before. And I wonder, why is there only the video from across the way? I saw another video on that, and I was saying that, where are all the close-up? Supposedly LAPD or hasn't released them. Why? So that's something that's a little question. You know, when people are concerned or really interested in someone's life and then murder, and I don't want to see the murder. I didn't even watch most of like that footage. I just saw what was the surveillance from afar, and it is from across the street. The Marathon store, again, I looked, and you can Google video, you can look on Google Maps. There is a camera in front of his store, and off to the left of the store, there was a camera, and there's one near, I'm sorry, to the right, there was a T-Mobile or a phone dealer that had T-Mobile, and there was a camera there, which is actually pointing right at where the shooting was, where his body was, where he was hit and was laying with the other 2 victims. And where is that footage? Why is that footage? And again, it's not that we should see it, but it's just weird that everything gets leaked nowadays. So I'm surprised those cameras aren't leaked. You know, people want answers because they want to know, like, wait, are we sure? Was it just the one guy? Do we see the girl who was the driver? You just, you know, people are just wondering, and it's just so sad. And you just hope that the right people are being held accountable. And what if there was some kind of setup? Why? You would want everyone to be held accountable. And in the eyes of the Lord, or in due time, karma, everyone will be held accountable, we think. You know, and we aren't ones to judge what that actually means. I know I saw an interview with Nipsey's grandmother and said she prays for the man who shot him, because obviously, I'm paraphrasing, he's lost. Or that's such strength. I mean, and why did he do that? Did he just flip because supposedly he was mad that Nipsey said he couldn't help him with music, is what I heard? And that also, he said, well, word on the street is you've been a rat, or, you know, you snitched in jail, because this guy had just gotten out of jail. And the guy supposedly was going to get papers and said, nah, that's not true, I'll come back. And maybe he just got, you know, felt a certain way. And people and their emotions, some people just can't handle stuff well. So I hope the truth comes out in this lifetime, soon in this lifetime, of everyone who's involved. And I hope that his legacy continues, just with the movement of like people doing positive things. You know, T.I. was talking about it, and I thought, you know, a lot of people don't always recognize T.I. for all the stuff he's done. He bought up a lot of the old crack houses he was hustling out of, donated homes. Some people know about that, but I bet the majority of mainstream who say, oh, T.I., he's that rapper who was like arrested and in jail multiple times, I bet they don't know. They know that, but they don't know all the good he's done. So let's like focus on that. Maybe we need to start posting memes of, you know, guess who bought this, and 2 Chainz has done this good in, you know, the neighborhood. And people aren't posting that, you know. We're posting making fun of girls' weaves and stuff and wigs. Like, we really need to like think about, what are we promoting? You know, I love to like laugh and see funny memes and everything. I tag my girls and everything in that. But we can also start spreading more positive news. You know, even think like once a day, let's share something on, you know, positive influences. Look at what these boss women are doing, you know, Black excellence, Latina excellence, you know, just anything positive, people giving back. So yeah, so rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. And I hope that everyone who was involved, and if, you know, if it's more than just one person, and maybe it was just this guy and it's just so random, that he also, I hope he will come to some realization and speak on why he did what he did. Of course, people are probably, not everyone's going to believe him, but hopefully there'll be some kind of closure, and, you know, we figure everything out. I'm going to end this video now because I've ran over, but thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you want, please. Thank you.